May 17th. Interview with Zin and Blim by Murrow. Salma and the Shining Blade have many allies from all over Tyria, but none are as unique or as valued as the Asuran inventors Zin and Blim. After some coaxing, the Shining Blade agreed to let me speak with the extraordinary duo. I found the two Asura working on some bizarre stone construct that gave off an eerie glow. They would not pause in their work or even deign to look at me when I spoke. I have heard that you're working on some incredible apparatus that can actually harm the unseen ones. What can you tell me about it? It would take a far greater genius than I to explain the intricate details of the project to the likes of you, and such a person does not exist. Surely you can describe it in general terms that my readers would understand. To comprehend even the most rudimentary explanation, one would need to be conversant in synergetics, energy fluxion, and the principles of universal dynamics. Your curiously diminutive human craniums are simply ill-suited to retaining such advanced concepts. I see, but all these questions, not useful. Not helping us get things done. Less QQ, more pew pew. Excellent point, Zin. Make yourself useful, Booker, and bring that box here. No, not the small one, the big one, with the stones in it. But I'm an elderly scribe. Then you should hurry up before your muscles atrophy any further. Come on, you're not getting any younger. The interview ended at this point as the Asura made me carry and lift heavy objects for them for the next few hours. I'd advise readers to steer clear of Zin and Blim unless they are prepared to be put to work. Hi guys, and welcome, as soon as the loading screen is done. I don't know why, it's the first time, well, it probably does make sense. The first time I load on Guild Wars, though, most days, it's never used to happen, but the loading screens are just so long, especially if it's like straight into Lion's Arch. Anyway, hi guys, and welcome to another episode of War in Kryta. I haven't actually filmed War in Kryta for quite a while, quite a busy week, I suppose. Lots to talk about, though, I guess, and we've got another one of these long missions coming up, so I guess that works out perfectly. Anyway, so we'll speak to the Lion's Arch Keep Gate Guard and get into the keep and see what Salma has to say for us for our last mission here. This is the last one. Well, there is kind of another one going on, but kind of the formula switches up a little bit after this, so we'll see what happens here. This one I remember struggling with a little bit, but I also happen to know that it's quite an easy way to get through it, though I've never done that technique, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, hi Salma, how's it going? Long time no see. She says the White Mantle's Temple of Tolerance has always been considered too well defended to risk an attack on it. But now we have momentum and a secret weapon. Oh, so we've actually got some momentum. Temple of Tolerance, if you do not remember, it was the temple that we went to in the Delesio Seaboard. Remember, most of these missions, Gates of Kryta, I guess, is the exception, but they took you to temples. It was quite weird. But yeah, so the Temple of Tolerance is here. This was actually where we met Dorian for the first time, Confessor Dorian. And we were like, oh hey, and we defended with him, the Scepter of Ore, as they were attacking, and then we ran off and got the Scepter to Dynash right at the end of the mission, if you remember. Well, this is going to be another defend thing. They weren't very creative here, really. They just basically said, yeah, you're going to go and basically defend in the same temple. But this time, instead of defending it from outsiders, we intrude inside the temple and then defend it from people trying to take it back, which I guess is quite cool. Anyway, so for many years, the Shining Blade have had a spy deeply embedded within the White Mantle organization. He has been stationed at the Temple of Tolerance for some time, working within the Mantle to build a small base of Krytans who are loyal to the Crown and willing to risk their lives to restore order to the nation. These individuals have arranged for the guards in Hakewood to take a bit of a break, at which point our man will let you into the temple to kill the Mursaat fiend, Koril the Malignant. So this is the Mursaat this time. I've booked you a passage for this mission with Zhao Tai, who is here in Lion's Arch. Are you willing to do this for Kryta? Despite the risks, we cannot miss this opportunity. I'll do as you ask, Your Highness. I hardly see how my dying will help Kryta. Oh, we're so pessimistic. Basically, if this was actually a viable way of playing the game, hitting the decline, you would just be a pessimistic bastard the whole way through. You'd just be, no, I'm going to die. No, you got yourself into this trouble. No, you don't deserve my help. No, Your Highness will help you. Okay, so we're going to go out to Lion's Arch. And this Zhao Tai woman, actually, I think I spoke to her in the original Prophecies Let's Play. I think I did. She was actually one of those interesting characters that was in Prophecies but hinted at Cantha. She hinted at sort of another land in the Tyrian universe that we kind of had no idea about or where it was, and she actually used to talk about that. At least this is what I remember anyway, before Factions was actually released. So I do remember coming to speak to her in Prophecies, and she's pretty cool, and they actually add her kind of back into the plot. She's always kind of been there as sort of a weird character that has these random things to do. Like, she used to talk to you about interesting stuff to do with Cantha, and then she was kind of added for a Winter's Day quest, and you know, there's always kind of been a reason to come speak to her, and now in War in Kryta they did it again, and there's another reason to speak to her. So she says, also she was mentioned in one of the Murrow articles actually. Oh, that reminds me, I haven't recorded a Morrow article for the start of this video. Those have really been slacking actually. It's because what I usually do is I record a Morrow article, then I come in to do a video, and if the video ends up getting split, like the last one was split twice, it ended up 3 episodes, right? So if that happens, I don't end up going back and recording a Morrow article for each of those other ones. It's okay, I don't think we should be falling behind. I do have to get on that and check that though. I'll probably remind myself while I'm editing in a minute. Anyway, so we'll speak to Zhai Zhao. And she says, we have a saying in Cantha, may the heavens attend to your needs, I shall attend to your wants. I promise my traders will do all that is in their power to see to it as that you can buy anything your heart desires. Anything, really? She's kind of like a bit of a Canthan whore here, really. Okay, so what business do you have to discuss? So, see, look, there's another quest here, the Weaver of Naboo. We didn't even do this. So anyway, yeah, we're going to speak to her about taking us into the Delesio seaboard. You can also say, can we just talk, you see, and this is where she teaches you about Cantha. But yeah, we're going to go into the seaboard. Yes, the new Kryta royalty has contacted me about this. Normally, I wouldn't use my ships for such purposes, but I'm being paid quite handsomely. We should be able to drop you off in an isolated location so you can do whatever it is you need without being noticed by any white mantle in the area. Is your party ready to go? I hope you're on the list of approved travellers. We're the only approved travellers, of course. Yes, we're ready to go. So she takes us into the Delesio seaboard, explorable area version of the mission that we once did, and you start off on this beach, which is actually quite cool. All the spawns are changed, it's pretty standard, we know what to expect now. You got some villages around here. I wonder if a lot of the villages, there are like Warring Kryta villages that just say the same random stuff like, oh, the 6 true gods, this is where my faith lies, and stuff like that, and it doesn't really change from mission to mission. But anyway, yeah, I do love these beaches. I think it's such a, well, no, yeah, I guess it's true, because my favourite Krytan outpost, I suppose you could say, is the Fisherman's Haven, right? And what a surprise, that's the only one that really takes place on a beach. Well, mind you, Sanctum K as well, but that never really feels that beachy. But you know, you never really get to experience this unless you're out in random explore areas with nothing really to speak of to do there. But anyway, yeah, so as for the dialogue for this quest, we've basically experienced all of the dialogue already. There's not much else. It's kind of the same with all of these explorers, which is why it's so good. I've got so much to talk about, I suppose. So, I guess the first thing really is that over the week I released that WTF video. I talked about a little bit, well, a little bit, I talked about it quite a lot, I suppose, in the last Warring Kryta video. Yeah, it went really well. I think you guys quite liked it a lot. It seems to be doing okay. Lots of people have been linking to it and stuff. I think the only thing that a lot of people, oh no, I speak again, there is a bit of dialogue here. Here's Dynas, if you remember. He says, finally, I was starting to get nervous. The mantle think that we left hours ago. If they saw us still looking around, it could be trouble. Now, before I open this door, well, you already have, I have information to add to your report to the princess. Listen carefully. The white mantle are getting scared. Torimo flew into an uncontrollable rage when he heard that his pet inquisitors had been taken out. Now they're sending men in every day to Demetra in the north. That's where we're headed as well. Something is happening up there. I'm not sure what, but I'll be in touch. Now go. Corral is in the centre of the temple. He should be hard to miss. Good luck. Alright, so Dynas, if you remember, he was a character. As I was reading the dialogue from Salma there, I was actually thinking, is he the inside man, really? If you actually remember, he was the guy we gave the scepter to on this mission originally. Does that Zealot have anything to say? I suppose not. I guess he's an inside man as well. He was the one that we gave the scepter to originally, and then we kind of took it back off of him way later when we were at Riverside Province, if you remember, which is kind of cool. I think that's actually really cool they put him back into the plot here at Warring Kryta, because he was actually one of those few characters that was like a really minor side character, and yet he kind of had he was voiced in cutscenes and stuff, and we got to speak to him a few times. That was really cool. So yeah, there's Dynas, and basically that is it now for the dialogue. You just got a pretty, I don't know, it's not that long of a mission, but the defending the temple, if it goes wrong, which I'm hoping it won't, but if it does go wrong, it will probably take us quite a while to finish it. I do remember when I first played this mission, this was one where I basically killed everything in the whole mission, desperate for a green, which I never got in the end, but yeah. So yeah, anyway, the video's out. It was pretty cool. I did say on the video, and I'm thinking of doing it. In fact, after I started filming this, I'm thinking of doing a few more videos like that. I'm thinking the next one is going to be about no energy in Guild Wars, because that was like as I said actually quite recently, you can kind of trace backlashes in Guild Wars, and you can kind of trace them and see when the community freaks out, and this whole thing with energy was a huge one, and it's kind of sorted now, and it was one of those things I didn't really like that ArenaNet did either. About wait, I know that was just a rich. For some reason there, I thought that was a green, but it wasn't. Yeah, the energy thing, that was another big one, really. Basically, for those of you who don't know, well, what originally happened with Guild Wars 2 is there was energy in the game, but you could easily just buy energy potions, and in fact there were dynamic events and stuff about getting energy potions, and they were quite a big part of the game, as it would seem. A lot of people weren't happy because basically what it meant, of course, was that energy management was a thing of the past. You could just spend money on consumables, and oh look, there you go, you don't don't have to worry about it. So ArenaNet kind of turned around after this backlash happened. They kind of turned around and they were like, well, no, energy's supposed to be a long-term mechanic, right? So it's going to tell you how hard you've been fighting in a battle, because it sort of measures your progress over the long term. And then we're all kind of, you know, and some people bought that, you know, people always do. Some people were just like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense, that's fine. But I think a lot of us were kind of sitting there like, why do we need a long-term mechanic like that for energy management? Why do we need that? Why do we need a bar that tells us, oh, look, my energy's really low, that was a hard-fought fight? Why do we need energy to tell us something like that? Why can't we just experience a hard fight, and we know it was a hard fight because we almost died, because our heart's pounding, because people had to res us up a load of time, because stuff like that? Why can't that just tell us it? And they never really had an answer for that, I don't feel. I think that originally their original vision for energy management was more of a... just an excuse for another gold sink, really. And don't get me wrong, I think gold sinks are extremely important. Another backlash, in fact, was when people were like, oh, you have to pay for map travel. No, I do agree with energy sinks. I just don't... energy sinks, I do agree with gold sinks. You have to excuse me if I'm talking a bit weird. It's very early in the morning today. But yeah, I do agree with gold sinks, but I just don't think the whole energy thing was a bit of a mess. Eventually, Arena... and I was really pessimistic about it. I was like, well, look, they've made dynamic events about energy potions. Consumables are obviously a big part of Guild Wars 2. There were all these different things with the consumables. There's a really low chance that these guys are actually going to turn around and take energy straight out of the game, right? But then they did. ArenaNet were like, no, do you know what, you guys are right, we're not going to do that at all. We're going to take energy out. But the thing is, energy did serve definitely one at least very important purpose, and that was that this purpose was that you could dodge in Guild Wars 2, right? And energy, it would take a huge chunk of your energy to dodge. That was basically the way the dodging was balanced. But with no energy there, obviously that was kind of screw up. So basically they turned energy into a mechanic that solely works with dodging, which is fine, which works absolutely fine for me, and I'm perfectly happy with it. And that now there are actually some people that are also complaining, that are like, oh right, well now we've got no energy at all. You know, a lot of people that complained about it first were, you know, real hardcore Guild Wars 1 fans, and they loved the whole energy management side of things. I personally have never really liked the energy management side of things. I don't have as much fun if I'm baiting on, you know, like 5 energy and I have to wait before I can use every skill. It's not so fun, you know. And ArenaNet have basically turned around and said, well look, you don't need both energy and skill recharges to balance skills. You don't need to do that. So essentially they've just taken energy management away, which I think is fine, because people were complaining, oh, there's going to be so much less complexity to Guild Wars 2 now, oh, blah, blah. But actually, if you think about where they've added a lot more complexity with the cross-profession combinations, and how the combat's a lot more actiony, and positioning's a lot more important now and stuff like that, I actually think that really having to deal with energy management as well would be more frustrating than anything else. So I'm very happy with the changes. I think a lot of people generally are now. And it was one of those really nice examples, actually, and I doubt I'll really talk about this in the video, but it was one of those nice examples of where ArenaNet turned around, and you know, there were people like me that were being quite pessimistic about it and didn't really like it, but they actually turned around, listened to the players, the audience, their customers, and they actually made the change, which I think is really cool, because there was so much talk for a really long time about how, like, oh, ArenaNet are so good, they've got this, they're a community building company, and you know, there still is a lot of talk about that, but for a while people were saying that, and I didn't really see much of it. All I saw was that they just had community managers posting a lot on the forums, and that they didn't really seem to listen to the players a lot. But man, they keep doing it. They keep doing it constantly. They keep turning around and saying, oh no, look, we've listened to you. Hey, look, we fixed the energy management issue. We fixed attributes. We fixed this. We fixed that. And they do genuinely seem to listen. So it's a nice example of that I can actually turn around and say, hey, no, look, they do listen to some of these things now, which is quite cool. So yeah, there's that. There'll be another... See, I don't know about the name of that series, though. WTF. I don't know. I get the feeling a lot of people are put off from it. But anyway, yeah, so if you've got any ideas, maybe I should rename it. I don't know. But there will be another video of those coming up, so look forward to that. I don't know whether... I'm hoping it will be like later this week, maybe like Friday. I'm recording this first thing on a Sunday. I kind of wish it was Monday, so I could say, hey, look, I've started off a very productive week. I didn't have a very productive week, honestly. It was a busy week last week. Like, my mum's birthday came up, and we kind of went out for a meal, and all kinds of stuff started happening. And then there was that video that actually took me a lot longer to make than I thought it would. But yeah, in any case... I'm hoping to be a lot more productive this coming week. What else was there that I was going to talk about? I feel like I almost talked myself onto another topic that I wanted to mention, but I've just kind of slipped straight past it. Oh yeah, there was the interview as well, actually. The interview that happened. It went quite well. I realised that actually that's how long it's been since I filmed a War in Kryta. I haven't even filmed one since the interview. The interview was, it went really well. I think it went really well. You know, we kind of had the interview, and then afterwards there were two people interviewing me, and then afterwards one of them showed me out at the end, and as we said goodbye, I don't know what it was, we just started chatting again, and we were just sort of stood out there for like another 10 minutes just talking to each other about the job and just about IT and all kinds of stuff like that, which was cool. I think, you know, if there's ever a good sign that you did well in an interview, it's that one of the interviewers wants to stand around talking with you for another 10 minutes afterwards, which is quite cool. But it has been about a week now. There are 6 people going for the one position. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So I'm not that hopeful about getting it, and you know, I won't be that bummed out if I don't get it. But it was, I think it did go quite well. It's been a week and I haven't heard anything. I don't know whether I should be worried about that, but whatever. So